video, 6 pro designers are going head to head to see who can create the best logo and packaging. But this isn't just about them, it's also about you. Yes, you watching this, as you'll be deciding the winner and who receives a brand new iPad. So here's the lowdown. 3 weeks ago, I put out a post calling on all designers to help me in a challenge against DesignBro, an online graphic design marketplace. Over 400 entries later, I've whittled it down to just 3 designers, and they will be going up against 3 of the best designers that DesignBro has to offer. The rules were simple. Everyone had 7 days to create a logo and packaging for a premium tea business called Teal. The main takeaways from the brief were the target audience of millennials, an elegant tone of voice, the product of tea tablets with a focus on responsible packaging, the big emphasis on the meaning of the colour teal, and the packaging design must be for a paper tablet box. So now we know that, let's meet our first contestant. P.S. You can vote for your favourite design using the first link in the description. So first up is Natalie, and she explained the main concept of her design was to encourage people to take a break and enjoy the present in an ever-increasing fast world. Now the visual inspiration came from the roaring 1920s and the visuals of Georges Méliès's films. So for the logo, Natalie chose a font inspired by Art Deco and then customised the font through changes in the stroke weights with the aim of adding more personality and movement into the logo. The illustration represents the tranquility and calm that this tea can bring into your life and was inspired by the 1920s Vanity Fair covers. So I think Natalie has nailed the tone of voice and emotion the product is trying to evoke. With the heavy connotations of luxury in the packaging, it makes you as the consumer want to embody the character, which prioritizes relaxation, making you feel rejuvenated and calm. Also, the design of the logo type is really well balanced. It manages to have that high-end but still edgy characteristics to ensure it's fitting with that illustrative style. Now, if I had to change something, I'd probably tweak the font used for the slogan. It kind of just feels a little bit too simplistic and deviates away from that elegant feel, and I potentially opt for something that is similar to the logo type or potentially use some capital letters to reinforce that elegance. Next up is Matt, and he explained how his concept aims to showcase a premium quality with the use of a watercolored background of the shaded mountains, which is where matcha tea is grown, alongside other elements inspired by traditional Japanese artwork. He also explained how he used kanji style lettering, which translates to matcha tea, alongside a metallic gold brushstroke to give the packaging another dimension of luxury. He also explained how the logo had been customized with leaf-shaped serifs on the characters T and the A. Now this design makes me feel as though I have been transported to Japan. The fleck of gold on the packaging reminds me of kintsugi, which is a Japanese tradition of repair, and it also brings a premium flair to the design. The logo type gives off elegance, matching the brand's tone of voice, and it's been designed in a way that it would translate well across other products and collateral. Now the only thing that I would change, if I am being picky, would be to remove the birds in the horizon, because at first glance some people might struggle to tell what they are, plus the design would be just as strong without them. The next designer is Georgia, and she mentioned she used geometric symbols in the packaging design to represent renewal and rebirth while giving it a modern feel. She wanted to keep the colour palette simple to ensure the colour teal stands out, and to help with this she also decided to use foil to showcase elegance but in a tasteful way so it isn't overbearing. Georgia also mentioned how it was important to consider the hierarchy of information on the packaging, with there being a lot of it. So she chose a mixture of a simple sans serif and a display typeface to ensure the important information was highlighted. Now I think the use of simplistic symbols not only helps with giving off the right emotion, but it also creates a clean and well thought out packaging layout. The use of one colour keeps the packaging clean, simplistic and cohesive, and this works really great against the grey as it stands out and links back back nicely to the product name. I also really like the use of the teal full as it immediately creates that premium feel. Now, if I had to change one thing, it would probably be the color of the strip on the side of the packaging. I'd possibly look at changing this to the teal color used, as I think it would add dimension to the overall design and possibly grab even more attention. The fourth design is from Alice, and she explained how the custom logo design is created from tea leaves and branches and how the background image is inspired by tea fields. Overall, she was aiming for a clean and modern feel while using sections of gold to add that premium feel. For me, the illustration and the layout of the landscape are the superstars of this design. It fits perfectly in the background without being overbearing and interfering with the hierarchy of the design. It also ties in really nicely with that earthy, natural qualities of the tea. I also think the color palette and the different shades of teal make you feel tranquil and refreshed, which reinforces the brand's intention. Now, if this was my design, I might just look at adjusting the size of the logo and simplify the letter T so it's cohesive with the monoline font. It currently feels like a separate entity and slightly distracts your eye from the packaging design. So next up is Deborah, and she described her designs as a fresh and elegant identity with a relaxed illustrative style and a color palette ranging from aquamarine to deeper shades of blue, balanced by a custom sans serif logo type. Now, she wanted to keep the logo minimal while showing some personality, so incorporated a leaf when customizing the logo type. Now, Deborah mentioned her aim was to tell a story with the packaging about a magical valley in Japan that gives off feelings of relaxation. She also mentioned that the scene takes place in 2 different times of the day, indicating that it is always the right time to take a break. I personally think the visual references to Japan and the way the illustration just runs full circle around the packaging is chef's kiss. You literally feel like you are embarking on a relaxation retreat, and the kettle pouring water that turns into a stream is such a smart and subtle way of promoting a product. Also, the use of dainty type throughout the packaging adds that feeling of elegance that could have perhaps been lost within the illustration. Now, if I was looking to change something, it would possibly be the color combination. It can feel a little bit overwhelming, so just by simplifying and stripping it back to a less varied color palette can help reinforce that sophistication of the brand. But with that said, I can understand and see why it has been done, as it creates that magical scene. Last but not least, we have Pedro. He's used color blocking and a minimalistic style of illustrations on the packaging. It's innovative, and I personally think it would catch the eye of the millennial. Now, the use of different shades of green perfectly matches the product and the name, and also suits that kind of block pattern style. So using any more colors here would have been overwhelming to the eye and possibly distract you away from all of that packaging information. So I really appreciate the way that they've included a mug behind the logo, along with that white cloud and steam in the negative space. It's subtle enough that it doesn't feel gimmicky, but clear enough to recognize the reference of tea. So there's one thing that I would possibly look at tweaking if this was my design, and that is the number of fonts used. So there are currently 4 within the packaging, which creates that inconsistency, distracting and can be confusing to the consumer. So I'd stick to around 2 fonts, keeping it simple and cohesive. So there we have it, all 6 designs. What do you think? Go and vote for your favorite using the first link in the description. And after you've done that, be sure to watch this video here where I go through my journey from employee to freelance designer.